Welcome. In the last session, I discussed a few questions from level 1. So, in this session, we will continue a few more questions from the level 1. So, the next question is question number 33. During repolarization of nerve. So, here first we'll see what is depolarization. So, here in depolarization, sodium ions from ECF. So this is extracellular fluid. The sodium ions from ECF, they pass into axoplasm. So they pass into axoplasm. And this takes place through special voltage gated channels. So here is a voltage gated channel. So this is sodium voltage gated channel, right? Now through this, the sodium ions present outside will move into the axoplasm, causing the charge reversal, that is depolarization. Now during repolarization, so the next step, so here ECF and this is axoplasm. So here the movement of potassium ions to outside. So you can see here there are voltage gated potassium channel. So this is a voltage gated potassium channel. So this voltage gated potassium channel will result immediately once the sodium channels are closed. Then it results in the opening of potassium channels. As a result, the potassium ions from axoplasm, they move into ECF, and this results in a process called repolarization. So where it comes back to the normal charges, that is positive on outside and negative inside. So in depolarization, so we have seen here, so it has resulted in negative outside and positive inside. So in this case, it comes back to the normal resting state. So repolarization results in that. Now during the repolarization of nerve, the first option, sodium channels are closed and potassium channels are open. So here so you can see this is a sodium channel. So sodium channel is closed. So this is voltage gated sodium channel. So that is closed. So in this case, we'll see the potassium channels are in closed condition. So they are in closed condition. So this is voltage gated potassium channel. So in depolarization, sodium voltage gated channels are open and potassium voltage gated channels are closed. And in repolarization, the sodium voltage gated channels are closed and potassium voltage gated channels are open. So that so the first option, that is sodium channels are closed and potassium channels are open, will be the right option. So the second one, sodium gate closes and potassium gate closes and sodium gate opens. No, so this is not. Then both gates open. No, so both gates no. So the right answer is A option. So the next question, synaptic vesicle is found in. So let's see. So this is the synaptic knob, and this is a presynaptic neuron. So the presynaptic neuron's synaptic knob, and then here is the dendrite of the next neuron. So this is dendrite of the next neuron, and this is post synaptic neuron. So you can see here the postsynaptic neuron will have receptors for those neurotransmitters, and a small gap that exists between these, okay, pre and postsynaptic neuron is synaptic cleft. Is called synaptic cleft, and located in the synaptic knob present are synaptic vesicles. So these are synaptic vesicles, and we will also find a lot many mitochondria. So you will see here mitochondria. Okay, and filled inside these vesicles are neurotransmitters. Okay, so this is synaptic vesicle, and inside the synaptic vesicle is it encloses neurotransmitters. It encloses neurotransmitter. Okay, so the question, synaptic vesicle is found in, so you can see the synaptic vesicle is present in presynaptic neuron. So the answer in this case, that is B option, presynaptic neuron, is the right answer. The next question, the nerve fiber in its resting stage is. So let's see the nerve fiber in its resting stage is. So here a nerve fiber in the resting stage will have many open potassium channels. So there will be potassium channels. So you can see here there are many potassium channels, and so these are sodium channels. And these sodium channels are closed. So sodium channels, and so these are potassium channels. So here the sodium channels are closed, right? So whereas the potassium channels are open. So the potassium channels are open. So in the resting stage, so there will be, so in resting stage there will be more number of potassium channels. So there will be more number of potassium channels open, and okay, very few open sodium channels. Few open sodium channels. So because of this, the membrane will be more permeable to sodium channels, right? So the nerve fiber in its resting stage is semi permeable to potassium ions. No. So more permeable to potassium ions. Yes, this is the right option. Okay, not less permeable to potassium, and not all of the above will be the right answer. So they will be, okay, here I'm showing this is a sodium channel, which is open. So open sodium channel. Okay, so this is a closed sodium channel. Closed sodium channel, and this is open potassium channel. So you can see there are more number of potassium channels open, so hence the membrane will be permeable to more potassium ions. So the right option is B. So the next question, cerebral cortex consists of. So here the cerebral cortex, it consists of gray matter and white matter. So if I just take, okay, so here just showing that, so this is the outer, okay, cortex region, the cerebral cortex. So this is the cerebral cortex, and this consists of mostly cell bodies. So it has more number of cell bodies, and the inner region of the brain, so I can call like cerebral medulla region. So this will be consisting of more number of axons with the myelin sheath, so this myelin sheath gives it a white coloration. So this gives it white coloration, whereas the cell body's presence will give it a gray coloration. So gray coloration. So right, so this the cerebral cortex region is the outer region, and this is inner region. So you will find the outer region, that is cerebral cortex, will be gray in coloration. So that's why we call it gray matter. So that's gray matter, and whereas the inner one, it has white coloration, and we call it white matter. So here the right answer, cerebral cortex consists of so it consists of gray matter. And this dura matter and arachnoid matter, so both are meninges. So these two are meninges that cover brain, right? So the next question, brain's area of speech is present in. So here in brain we will see two areas, one in the left frontal lobe. So here, so this called Broca's area. So this Broca's area is located in left frontal lobe. So that is lower frontal lobe, you will see here, right? So this is associated with, so this Broca's area is associated with the speech production. And this is connected to another area, so that lies between parietal and temporal lobe, okay, so through a neural pathway, and that's called Wernicke's area. So this Wernicke's area here, as he mentioned, this Wernicke's area is actually meant for speech comprehension. Meant for speech comprehension, okay, right? So out of the options here, brain's area of speech is present in, so parietal lobe, no, parietal lobe, and in temporal lobe, a small portion occupying here. So that's they are talking indirectly about the Wernicke's area. So here the right answer will be parietal lobe and partially in temporal lobe. So the B option will be the right option, not completely in temporal lobe or temporal and occipital lobe. That is not so. So these are not the options, only B will be the right option. The next question, so given below is a table comparing effects of a sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So here I have given you a picture uh, for your reference. So we have parasympathetic nervous system. So what does the parasympathetic nervous system does, and sympathetic nervous system. So what are all its functions? So on this side you can see sympathetic, it dilates pupil in eyes, then salivary glands inhibit salivation, then in case of heart accelerates heartbeat, then lungs, okay, it dilates bronchi, then in case of stomach it inhibits the digestion, okay, and then in case of liver it stimulates glucose release, and in case of kidneys stimulates epinephrine and norepinephrine release. And I have given here, okay, other actions of the sympathetic nervous system on organs. And coming to the parasympathetic, in case of this people, it constricts the pupil, salivary glands opposite to that of sympathetic, it stimulates salivation, then heart, it slows heartbeat, and in case of lungs constrict bronchi, in case of stomach it stimulates the process of digestion, and so now here let's see the options. Salivary gland here, it stimulates secretion. So parasympathetic nervous system stimulates secretion. So here you can see that one, the salivary gland stimulates secretion. So the salivary glands stimulate secretion. That is in the case of parasympathetic. So here this is wrong, inhibits secretion. So this is an opposite, okay, so hence it's wrong in the case. Then pupil of eye, so sympathetic dilates, yes. So you can see in this case the sympathetic nervous system it dilates, this is here, and the parasympathetic it constricts the pupil. So it dilates the pupil and it constricts the pupil. So this is right and this is also right. Then heart rate, so you can see heart rate it decreases. So it decreases here, the sympathetic actually decreases, and sorry, sympathetic increases and parasympathetic decreases. So in this case also it's wrong. So then the peristalsis, you can see in this case it stimulates peristalsis, okay, that is parasympathetic. So in this case they have given it stimulates in case of sympathetic. So this is wrong, so this is also wrong. So the right option is pupil of eye, that is B option is the right option. So here once go through this picture, so and note down all these the effects of parasympathetic, which we did not see in synopsis. So now you can copy down these things. Sympathetic, what the effects of sympathetic nerve system on different organs of our body, and parasympathetic effects on different organs of the body, right? So make a tabular form and keep it so that it can help to write objective questions. So the next question, assertion and reason. So you'll see here assertion. In depolarization process, there is a positive charge on the outer side of a nerve fiber and a negative charge on its inner side. Now this is in a resting state, the nerve fiber will have a positive charge on its outer side and the negative charge on its inner side. So this is a resting membrane. So whereas in case of depolarization, it becomes opposite. So we'll have negative charge on outside and positive charge on inside. Positive charge on inside. So this is in case of depolarization. So you can see in depolarization there is a positive charge on the outside. So is saying that there is a positive charge on the outer side, no, right, and a negative charge on its inner side. So this statement is a wrong statement. Then during depolarization, the permeability of plasma membrane increases for sodium ions. So sodium ions, okay, so this is correct. Permeability to sodium ion increases, and the sodium ions move to outside of the membrane, and potassium ions enter into the nerve fiber. No. So here we see in this case the sodium ions will move into the exoplasm. They move into the exoplasm, right? So whereas the potassium ions for depolarization process, they move out of the exoplasm. So in this case, this statement is also a wrong statement. So the right option for this, both A and R, that is assertion and reason, so both are wrong. So D option will be the right option. So the next question, which of the following is correct for the pairs of cervical nerves and the number of cervical vertebrae respectively? So here the cervical nerves, so we have already seen the cervical nerves. Coming to these cervical nerves, there are total 8 pairs. The cervical nerves are 8 pairs. So I already mentioned that the total spinal nerves are 31 pairs, in which the cervical nerves will be 8 pairs, and then thoracic nerves will be 12 pairs, and then lumbar nerves, so these will be 5 pairs, and then sacral nerves will be 5 pairs, and then coccygeal nerves will be 1 pair. Okay, so whereas coming to the cervical vertebrae, so the cervical vertebrae are 7 in number. So cervical vertebrae are the vertebrae located in the neck region. So these are neck vertebrae, and those are 7 in number. So here the options, uh, okay, respectively. So cervical nerves are 8, and then the cervical vertebrae are 7. So option C, 8 and D will be the right option. The next question, assertion and reason. So we'll see here assertion. Myelin sheath insulates nerve fiber and prevents its depolarization. So let's see that we know axon is covered by squam cells, it's covered by squam cells. Okay, so here we have axoplasm, right, and this is axolemma, right. Now the nerve impulse that gets transmitted, okay, so we know that this squam cell will be acting as an insulator by producing myelin. So this is squam cell, and this one produces myelin, and that will act as insulator, doesn't allow movement of impulse to pass across it. So hence the nerve impulse will jump from one node of Ranvier to another node of Ranvier. Know that this is nerves, and okay, right. Now here only at the node of Ranvier the axon is exposed, and the nerve impulse jumps from one node of Ranvier to another node of Ranvier. And we know that, okay, so here if the squam cell produces myelin, then this is called a myelinated neuron. It's called myelinated neuron. Now in myelinated neuron, as the impulse jumps from one node of Ranvier to another, so hence here in this case it conducts nerve impulses very rapidly. While coming to the non-myelinated, so while coming to non-myelinated, so we can see here squam cells are present, but even then, okay, so the transmission of impulse takes place, okay, straight away. So impulse takes place straight away, and in this case, as it is not producing the myelin, so this is called a unmyelinated neuron or a non-myelinated neuron. So here in this case, the transmission of impulse is very slow. So here it conducts impulse slowly, right? So now let's see the again assertion. Myelin sheath insulates the nerve fiber and prevents its depolarization. Yes, so it acts as an insulator and it prevents the depolarization. As a result, the nerve impulse will only transmit at nodes of Ranvier. Then reason, the nerve impulses are conducted more rapidly in non-myelinated nerve fibers than myelinated. No. So the myelinated nerve fibers will be conducting the nerve impulse very rapidly. So in this case, they okay transmit impulse rapidly, and non-myelinated they transmit impulses slowly, right? So hence the reason is wrong, are conducted more rapidly in myelinated, okay, than non-myelinated, then the statement would be right. So but here it is in opposite, so hence the reason is wrong. Only the option D, so sorry, option C, A is true but R is false. So option C is the right answer. So the next question, the brain stem is made up of. So it's made up of, let's see what the brain stem consisting of. So the brain stem, it consists of midbrain, then it consists of pons, and then it consists of medulla oblongata. So these are the okay three regions that make up the brain stem. So now let us see. The brain stem is made up of midbrain, pons. Okay, so here cerebellum is not included. Midbrain, okay, pons and medulla oblongata. Yes, it is here. All these three are the brain stem. Then diencephalon is not included, and cerebellum is also not included. Last option, cerebellum, cerebrum, so these are also not included. So the right option is the B option, that includes midbrain, pons, varoli and medulla oblongata. So the next question, organ of Coty is situated on. So we know that it's the cochlear region that is mainly responsible for uh, the auditory function. So here when we take the transverse section, so inside we find okay three separate chambers. So we'll see. Okay, so this is scala vestibuli, so which is aligned with the Resnard's membrane. So here it's lined with the Resinus membrane, and in between this we have is a scala media. We have a scala media, okay, and below that it is scala tympani, and here it's lined with the basilar membrane. So we have here the basilar membrane, okay, and located on this basilar membrane is the organ of Coty. So you can see here this is the tectorial membrane, and below that you will find, okay, hair cells. So these are hair cells, and this is the organ of Coty, so which is the main organ responsible for receiving auditory information. The organ of Coty. So organ of Coty is situated on basilar membrane of tympanic canal, the basilar membrane of median canal, and the Resners membrane in tympanic, okay, canal. So we don't have a Resners membrane in tympanic canal, nor is present in the vestibular canal. So here basilar membrane of tympanic, okay, canal. So right, so we'll consider the option basilar membrane, so of median canal, so option B. So the next question, identify the wrong statement. So identify the wrong statement regarding the mechanism of a hearing. External ear receives and directs the sound waves to eardrum. Yes, so here the external ear, which includes the pinna, which collects sound waves and then it directs into the auditory meters, which ends with this tympanic member. This is how, okay, so this is the eardrum. So okay, so this pinna, the external ear, helps in collection of that sound waves and directing towards the eardrum. So that is a right statement. Vibrations produced in the eardrum are transmitted through ear ossicles. Yes, okay, so behind this eardrum we have is ear, okay, ossicles. Those ear ossicles are three tiny bones, so which are connected one to one in this way, and then we'll see something like this. So this is the eardrum, and this is malleus, this is, okay, and this is smallest bone, the stapes, so which will be in contact with the oval window. So here is oval window of the cochlea, right? So at the base of the cochlea we have this oval window, right? So vibrations produced in the eardrum are transmitted through ear ossicles, okay, and oval window to the fluid in the inner ear. So this oval window is connected to, so we know that at the end of the, at the base of the cochlea, so here we have is a scala vestibuli. So which means that this oval window will be in connected to scala vestibuli, is connected to scala vestibuli. So this statement is also a right statement. Then movement of basilar membrane bends the hair cells. Yes, there is a tectorial membrane on it, and we have here our hair, okay, cells, and whenever there is a movement in the basilar membrane, the hair cells will come in contact with this tectorial membrane, and the movement of these hair cells will result in, okay, generation of impulse that transmits through the nerves, right? So movement of basilar membrane bends the hair cells. This is also a right statement. The nerve impulse are generated and transmitted by efferent fibers to auditory cortex. It means that from the sensory organ to auditory cortex, it should be of right afferent pathway or afferent fibers, means sensory fibers. So there should be sensory fibers, not efferent. So efferent fibers, which means here it is motor. So here the information that is generated will not send to the auditory brain by efferent motors. So that is motor fibers, that is wrong. So hence the option D, the nerve impulses are generated and transmitted by efferent fibers. If it is efferent fibers to the auditory cortex, then the statement will be right. So as he mentioned efferent fibers, so this statement is the wrong statement. So hence the answer D option is right. So that's all about some questions which I have discussed from the level 1. So in the next session I'll start discussing questions from level 2.